All right, guys, I am back again. I gotta let the hens out, let them graze, let them come out here in all this grass. So I let them do that here for about a half hour. Evening's up, and then I will let them go back in their space. Anyway, title of this video is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And sometimes it's who knows you. So let's get into it. I didn't even learn this until I was later in life. I was probably 35 up before I finally made this connection. I was visiting a friend one time, and his roommate just was still there, and he said he was getting ready to coming back from work. I don't know if he's coming back from work or leaving. Probably leaving. And he said he was working at a convenience store, and he was in this little. It was one of these little rinky-dinky small towns. You know, I like the town, but you know, small towns, everybody knows everybody, and you being there for the last 6 months, you're still, you know, you're kind of on the outside of everything. And I asked him how he got that job, and he said, well, how do I put this? Sometimes it's not what you do or what you know, but who you know. So, you know, I found myself thinking about a scenario one time, and that this actually had been working for me, and I didn't realize it at the time. Let's recap the story of the 2008 recession, and then we're starting in the next year, 2009, and we had some family friends, and one of them in particular, I was told her son was working at home doing, it wasn't telemarketing, but it was something to do with, I guess, customer service. And there was this company, and she suggested I look into it. And I don't know that he was still employed there, but he had a good rapport. And the guy in question was kind of like me. He was kind of neurodivergent, and some jobs were just out of reach, I guess. So I decided to check into this company, and then I saw that I could fill out an application. And, well, what do you know? I did the questionnaire or whatever else they asked of me, and what do you know? Welcome aboard. I mean, this is literally the first job offer I'd gotten in probably over a year, and who knows how long. I mean, to be fair, I mean, it would have been a much better position if it had better hours. But she's like, you got to pretty much take anything and be willing to work on weekends and all that, which kind of sucks. But I was just happy to get it. I was happy to get something, you know. Beggars can't be choosers, right? So that's how that went. At least I had something. At least I had something I was going to put some more money in my pocket. But anyway, now, have there been times when connections did not work in my behalf? Yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you another little story. My first husband worked as a hospital. He wasn't an administrator, but he worked in the registration department where he was admitting new patients and, you know, doing their paperwork and processing their insurance and all that. And he said there was an opening for something administrative. It wouldn't be in the same department as he was, and he suggested I try to apply for it. Now, he'd always been saying they had some kind of anti-nepotism policy down there, which I thought was strange. He says, I've seen them hire relatives all the time. I don't know what it is. It's like maybe they only enforce it when they want to. And so he encouraged me to apply, and I did. I didn't get the job, but at least I guess I went in there and tried to do something. I had to give my husband the benefit of the doubt, you know. But moving on. Let me see. I'm coming back from my hens in a little while. they go to Grace for about half an hour. I gotta get back to... Okay. Oh, but I remember that time. That time I went in there there were like 5 other women that were all trying to get that same administrative job down there. And sorry, I heard a weird noise. I was trying to walk away. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe someone shoot target practice. Sorry, just weirded out. Oh, that sun's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that beautiful sunset. Gorgeous, right? Okay, back to connections and jobs and all that. I checked the moon. Can you see the moon? The quarter moon. I mean, these 5 other women, you ever get aggravated because people talk to each other? You think they're strangers and they don't know each other, but you get in there and they talk to each other like they know each other and you feel excluded. That happens to me a lot. I never understood when, I always assume when people are having a conversation amongst each other, they've known each other a long time, they run into each other again, but what if that's not the case? I mean, it's like, why do I always feel excluded like that? You know, I don't know, maybe I don't know if I'm just weird or what the deal is, but one more story after this. And this is probably one of the last times I tried to apply for a job. I think this was probably, I don't know if this is last year or 2023. I'm not 100%, but I was using the Indeed app at the time, try to scout for work. And an opening come up for some fast food place near me, and I knew my late husband's best friend was employed there. And I thought, I'll go in there knowing him. Maybe that'll give me a leg up. And I went into the interview and I asked about the friend in question. He told me he didn't work that. He didn't work. He was no longer working there. He had some health problems. And I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, it was another one of those empty interviews where they just ask you 5 or 6 of these questions and then they do the whole, oh, we'll call you routine. Stupid. I think you know how that goes. But are there times when connections can work against you? Yeah, they can. It's not perfect. It's just one more thing that gives you a leg up. I guess if that person wasn't well liked at the company, that may not help you. So I guess it depends on how your friend or family member is received, where he or she is working at, as far as if that's going to be advantageous or not. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Your network is your net worth, and the winner circle is the social circle. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.